it doesn't happen all at once. Someone doesn't just walk up and insult you out of the blue one day. It starts very slowly, so slowly that most people don't even notice. First, it's a joke that stings a little too much. Then, someone cuts you off mid-sentence. Then, decisions are made for you without asking. Then, you're called late or made to wait, as if your time is less valuable. You feel it. A slight tightening in your stomach, a strange pressure in your chest. But you say nothing. You smile. You tell yourself it's okay, it's not a big deal. And that is where the real problem begins. Because disrespect is not an event. It is a process. It is a test. A probe. Every time you stay silent, every time you shrink yourself, you aren't proving that you are a good person. You are telling the world that your dignity is up for negotiation, that your boundaries are weak, and that people can treat you however they please. The world reads these signals clearly, whether they realize it consciously or not. The truth is, people give you only as much respect as you have the courage to give yourself. You think silence is maturity. You think adjusting is wisdom. You think avoiding conflict is peace. But in reality, every time you go against yourself, you cut your self-respect into pieces. And when someone abandons themselves repeatedly, others learn to abandon them too. The warning within. Think about it. When was the last time someone interrupted you and you didn't even try to finish your sentence? When did someone take credit for your work and you convinced yourself it was fine? When did someone belittle you and you swallowed your anger? That heaviness you felt in that moment. It wasn't just shame. It was an internal warning, a voice saying, you are doing wrong by yourself. But you suppress that voice because you are afraid. You are afraid people will get angry. You are afraid that drawing boundaries will break relationships. You are afraid of being alone. And to avoid today's sting, you keep drinking tomorrow's poison. This is the ultimate betrayal a human can commit against themselves. Because the conflict you avoid today returns with double the strength tomorrow. And by then, you are alone. The whispers of disrespect. Most people don't understand that disrespect doesn't scream. It whispers. It looks casual. Someone shows up late without apologizing. Someone tells you that you overthink. Someone chuckles slightly at your words. These are all signs. Like someone gently pushing against your personal fence to see if you'll stop them. If you stop them, they step back. If you don't, they move forward. People don't look at how good you are. They look at how much you tolerate. And the one who tolerates the most loses the most. This doesn't mean you have to fight every time or react to everything. The problem isn't in not responding. It's in giving up internally. Often, you don't need words. Sometimes just pausing, staying silent, and looking them in the eye without flinching is enough. When someone takes a dig at you, and instead of laughing, you just go quiet. When you stop giving explanations, when you stop justifying yourself, the other person becomes uncomfortable. Because you refuse to play the game they were playing. People want reactions. Anger, excuses, jokes, anything. Because a reaction means you were affected. But when you give nothing, the game ends right there. The birth of real power. This is where real power is born. Power isn't in shouting. Power isn't in proving yourself right. Power is in that stillness, which shows that your self-worth is not dependent on anyone's opinion. And here is another truth. If you are disrespected repeatedly, somewhere deep down, you believe you deserve it. This belief often comes from childhood, from places where staying silent was called culture, and adjusting was called a virtue. But this habit makes you weak later in life. The good news: it can be changed. And change doesn't start from the outside. It starts from within. It starts when you begin keeping the promises you made to yourself. When you stop taking yourself lightly. When you raise your value in your own eyes. The world's behavior changes automatically. Because people learn from your presence, not your words, how they are supposed to treat you. This is the first stage. Right now, you don't fight. You don't prove anything. You just observe, understand, and find yourself again. The path opens from here. Reflection and response. As the story goes deeper, you realize external disrespect is a reflection of your internal state. If you break yourself a little more every day to save a relationship, that becomes your identity. People don't see you for who you are. They see you for what you allow. Respect is not requested. It is commanded. The day you realize that every word doesn't need a retort, and every question doesn't need an answer, the game changes. Look at people who have a strange sense of peace. Few words, but a heavy presence. People are careful when talking to them, not because they are scary, but because their boundaries are crystal clear. They don't try to look strong. They are strong. And being is the greatest power. The final transformation, real change, comes when you stop reacting and start responding. A reaction is a habit. A response is an understanding. Imagine someone says something hurtful. The old you would have laughed, explained, or burned inside. The new you just stops. In that pause, power is hidden. Some people still won't respect you, even when you change. And that's fine. Your job isn't to change the world. It's to protect yourself. Walking away from people who repeatedly cross lines isn't cruelty. It's intelligence. This is the third stage. You aren't fighting the world. You are standing with yourself. And when someone stands firmly with themselves, the world naturally finds its place around them. Would you like me to help you draft a specific response for a situation where you feel your boundaries are being tested?